Today is yoga for anxiety. Today we are going to work with blocks. So if you have them, if you have a chair handy and you're a little wobbly in your balance, maybe grab a chair. We're going to work on balance today. So some challenging things just to play with our balance. Mostly the concept of the class today is to tire out the physical body a little bit so that we can get rid of some excess physical energy. So that we come down to our meditation, perhaps we can let go of some physical energy and then maybe some mental and emotional energy that's buzzing around. So we're going to get started on your back. Come on down to your back, land on the ground. Bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug. Just start to really feel how you feel. So notice the physical body, notice the mental body, the energetic body. Notice what emotions are present. Take some movements with the legs and feet, just starting to feel the physical body, noticing how you feel. And then bring your feet down to the ground, knees up, and start to feel your hips really relaxing into the ground, shoulders relaxing into the ground. And take a moment to just find the breath. Feel the ground below you. Allow whatever is present to be present. Feel your emotions. Notice the thoughts. Notice any physical tweaks and cramping or any kind of gripping in the muscles. Just notice. Notice where the breath is at. And then we'll begin with 4 corners breath. So if it helps, you can bring your hands to your torso. We're going to focus on the lower part of our lungs, bringing our breath really deeply into the lower part of our lungs. Not with force, but just really intentionally filling up this part of our lungs, the bottom of our lungs. Really long, slow inhale. Really long, slow exhale. And if you like, you can add a gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Gently switch your awareness to the sides of your ribs. And you can place your hands here if it helps too. And start to bring your breath all the way into the sides of your lungs. Is imagining that your breath is just gently poking through each rib as you extend and fully inflate the sides of your lungs. And then bring your awareness to the back. And imagine you could just gently lift yourself off the ground by filling up the back parts of your lungs. And then finally bring your awareness right underneath your collarbones and fill up the top corners of your lungs. And again, maybe adding that gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. Gentle pause. And then let all thoughts of your breath go and notice how you feel. And bring your feet about hip-width apart, a comfortable distance from the glutes. Just start to feel the feet on the ground, maybe wiggle them around a little. Start to maybe tap them a little, feel the feet, engage the feet, wiggle the toes. And we're going to move and breathe, engaging the core and engaging the glutes in the back of the legs. So leaving the shoulders on the ground, nice soft curve in your neck. Don't pull the chin down to the chest. We're going to engage the core. The backs of the arms can remain on the ground to help support. Inhale as you lift the hips, exhale as you lower. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. Again, maybe exploring adding that gentle pause in at the end of the exhale. Moving with your breath, starting to find the muscles of the core. Lower the hips down. Take a little side shuffle with the knees and hips. And then bring the feet back down, knees up. Find your base. So begin to press your rib cage into the ground. Press your hips into the ground. That should fire up the stomach muscles. So you should already feel active in the core. We're not tilting our hips and pushing our lower back down. We're going to keep our natural curves of our back. Push our hips down into the ground with our stomach. Push our rib cage down into the ground with our stomach. Fire up the core. Maybe even bring the fingers to the stomach. Make sure you know which muscles you're trying to use. Keeping the right foot down, we're going to lift and hover the left. We want to lift and hover without moving the hips. You should have been engaged, nice and strong. We're going to move and breathe. We're going to take our right arm up overhead. We're going to inhale, open, and then exhale, bring the foot and hand towards each other. So inhale, open, exhale, draw in. Let the head go wherever it goes, maybe leaving it down and making the movement smaller. You can still work the core by leaving the head down, keeping the neck out of the game. Squeeze the core. And if the lower back is doing all of the work, set up again. Push your hips down to the ground. Push your rib cage down to the ground. Fire up the core. And don't bring the foot so low to the ground. Back wants to do all the work when the foot is close. So then bring it up a little. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze in. The slower and more controlled you move, the more you're finding that mind-body connection. You're strengthening the muscles, challenging the muscles. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Bring the left ankle just underneath the right knee, and then actively push the right knee away from you. Draw the right toes up. Left knee away from you. Draw the right toes up. So we're still pushing the hips down to the ground. Play with the angle of the left foot. the left knee over the right knee. And we're going to take the knees a little bit over to the right, squeeze back to center, a little bit over to the left. So we're trying to move, very small movement across the lower core. So our rib cage is still solid and attached to the ground. Little tiny movements, trying to find those muscles in the core to help us twist and turn throughout our day. Watch for your compensation patterns in your neck. And then unravel. Take a little side sway. Left foot stays down. Right foot comes to a hover. Left arm overhead. So now set up nice and strong. Push those hips down. Push the rib cage down. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze left hand to right foot. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. And you can make it as small or as big as you feel you're ready. If you want to really lift that left shoulder up, trying to keep the rib cage engaged around the rib cage. You're really pulling the core in towards the spine. Slow, controlled, engaged movement. And then slide the right ankle underneath the left knee. Push the right knee away from you with your muscles and then lift the left toes. Still engaged around the hips. Breathe. Slide the right knee over the left. Engaging those same core muscles. We're going to let the knees come a little bit over to the left and then a little bit over to the right. So small movements, just really connecting with the muscles that make twists happen. Think about those muscles really close to the spine. Engage. Watch for compensation patterns in your neck. And then unravel. Bring the knees in. Give yourself a little hook. And then roll on over to a side. And come on up to a tabletop position. So we're going to move and breathe in tabletop. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, sending the hips back. Inhale forward. Exhale, send the hips back again. Maybe exploring a gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then land in a child's pose. Take a little reset. Find your breath. What can you let go of? And then come on back to a tabletop position. We're going to take our hands a little bit further forward from our shoulders than we're normally in tabletop. You're going to engage. Pull back from the wrists. So engage the chest, engage the core. Lower the elbows towards the ground nice and slow. And then lift them up. Lower as low as you can go. And then lift up. Engage the core. Try not to bow in the back. Buckle in the shoulders. And then bring it back to tabletop. We're going to take the right leg back, hold and hover, lift up out of the ground, left arm up. Balance and breathe. Bend the right heel towards the glute, maybe catch the foot, and balance. Breathe. Slowly release the foot, extend back out, lower, and switch sides. Left leg out, right arm out, lift up out of the ground, engage and breathe. Left heel towards glute, right hand towards the foot, catch, extend, breathe and balance. Slowly release the foot, extend, and return the foot and the hand back down, tabletop. Take a little sway side to side with the weight, reset. Start to feel the shoulders, maybe taking little shoulder circles with some weight in the shoulders. And we're going to challenge our balance here. So, this isn't easy. The point is to play and to challenge. And if you're stuck in your head and your to-do list and your thoughts are swirling and you're thinking about not being in your physical body, this will be impossible. So take some time to really feel your hands on the ground. Lift up out of the ground. Lift the left hand. And then see if you can lift the left leg and balance. Engage. This time maybe catch the left foot, same side. Whoop. Extend and bring it back. Reset. On to the other side. Right leg extends, right arm extends. Lift up out of the ground. Engage the core tightly. Maybe catch the foot. Breathe and balance. Ah, can't get it. Lift up out of the ground. Slowly release the foot if you have it. And then come on back to a child's pose. Reset. Tabletop, and we're going to move through challenging our balance. So we're going to lift left arm, right leg, bring it back down, lift right arm, left leg. So inhale as you extend, exhale as you bring it back down. Switching, just moving with your breath. Extend and lengthen. Engage and lift up out of the ground. Bring it back to tabletop. This time tuck our toes. Lift and hover. And try that same thing, switching side to side. Left arm, right leg. Right arm, left leg. Little bit more challenging. Focus on your breath. Focus on your core muscles. Lower the knees down and tuck the toes. And we're going to take the right leg back, lower the toes, press through the heel. Lift the right leg, bring it past the left. So we're going to tap it to the left. Inhale as we tap it to the left. Exhale as we squeeze it towards the right. Inhale, tap. Exhale, squeeze. Trying to find all the muscles at the hip and the leg and the core. So still lifting up out of the shoulders, not buckling into the shoulders. Bring it up towards the right hand. Engage the leg. Challenge your balance by lifting the left hand. Squeeze and hold. Breathe. And then back to tabletop. Take the left leg out, lower the toes, press through the heel. You can keep the press static or you can take little pulses. And then cross the left leg past the right, engage. So inhale, exhale, squeeze the left leg towards the left hand. Inhale, tap. Exhale, squeeze. Controlled. Finding the muscles of the hip and the leg. Bring it up towards the left hand. Hold. Challenge the balance by raising the right. Breathe. Lift up out of the shoulders. Hold and hover. And then bring it back down to tabletop. Take a little sway. Reset. And then down dog. Lift up out of the ground. Engaging the muscles of the stomach. Lifting up out of the wrists. Lifting up out of the shoulders. Warm up your down dog in whichever way feels right for you right now. Take the tension out of the neck. And then find the stillness of down dog. Connect with your head below your heart. Lift the right leg high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee and bring the knee round towards the right elbow. Hold and hover. Three-legged dog. Round towards the right elbow. Hold and hover. Three-legged dog. And then if this isn't challenging enough, bring it round. Hold and hover. See if you can pop up. Left. Yeah, challenge your balance. Bring it down, step the right foot through. Low lunge. So if you have your blocks, find your blocks. Keep them handy. We're going to inhale, forward low lunge. Exhale, sending the right leg towards straight. Just having an experience in your own body. Moving in whichever angles and shapes your legs feel. Just warming them up, releasing tension. Come forward, low lunge, and set up. So you're nice and strong in your base. Maybe that back leg is a little more bent than normal. You're pulling up out of the right leg. The whole leg is engaged. So we're not just sinking into the hip. We're really engaged around the hip, really strong in that right hip. You're going to use your blocks for balance, to help you balance. We're going to come forward and pop up the left heel towards the glute. Hold and hover here. So maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you can come a little longer in the spine. And leaving the left hand on the block. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you squeeze the right hand down. Inhale, open right hand. Exhale, squeeze. If this is too much, your balance is not there yet, lower the back toe. And just inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. If you want to challenge your balance, you're going to bring that heel towards the glute. Inhale, squeeze. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze back. And if you want to get really challenged on your balance, you're going to start to try and pop that left fingertips off the block. Lower the back toes down. We're going to place the left foot down into low lunge. Nice and strong. Set up in low lunge. Breathe. And then lower the back knee, untuck the toes, and just make sure you're lifted up off the knee. You're comfortable in that back knee. So wiggle around and then lift up the spine. So engaging again in this right leg. Right hip is still engaged, maybe on fire by now. Maybe you can even pop up that back knee by pressing into the back foot. Lower down, send the hips back towards the left knee and lift the toes on the right leg. Move the heel left and right, having an experience in the side of the right leg. Come forward onto the right leg, tuck the toes, slowly lift up the knee. So keeping this leg in a little bit closer than it normally is in low lunge. Engage your base first. We're going to take the left arm forward, squeeze our core, right arm extend, come on up, twisted lunge. Hold a twisted lunge. You can lower this back arm down. Squeeze the core. And then we're going to challenge our balance here. So we're going to come on down, inhale here, come on down as you exhale, slow. Inhale, pull up as you're being pulled up with the right hand. Exhale, pull up, keeping your base really strong and active. Challenge your balance. Pull on up, and then come to a regular high lunge. Frame out the front foot. Send the right foot back to meet the left. High plank. Lengthen, hold, breathe. Lower the knees and find a child's pose. Take a minute to notice left and right hips. We worked one side and not the other. It's a great time to have an internal experience and feel what's going on in your body. Step away from the vacillations of the thoughts and into the physical body. And then tuck the toes and come up to down dog. Left leg lifts high. And squeeze the left, bend the knees, squeeze the left knee towards the left elbow. Hover. And then back to three-legged dog. Squeeze it towards the left elbow, hover. And back to three-legged dog. Squeeze towards the left elbow, hover, maybe lift up your right arm. Challenge your balance. Lower the right arm, step through, low lunge. And warming up your low lunge. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Moving with your breath, having your own internal experience with your muscles, your holding pattern. Set up in low lunge, really long in the spine. Slowly bring the weight onto the left leg. Bring the right heel towards the glute. Hold and hover. We're going to inhale as we open and twist, lifting the left arm up. Exhale, bring it back. This movement comes from the rib cage up, so hips remain steady and sturdy. And then maybe beginning to come up onto the right fingertips. Maybe even float the fingertips as you challenge your balance. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze it back down. Bring it back, lower the left, right foot. Low lunge, bend in the knee this time. So a little bit shorter low lunge, set up nice and long in the spine. Whew. And then you're gonna bring the left arm up. Right arm comes forward as you slowly draw the body up to a twisted lunge. Hold here. Can drop the back arm. Squeeze the core. And then we're going to inhale, exhale, slowly bring the right arm down. Inhale, pull the left arm up. So we're small, tiny movement in our twisted lunge. Legs are engaged. Challenge your balance. Hold it up, high lunge, twisted lunge, and then bring it to a regular high lunge. Hold, breathe. Frame out the front foot. Send left foot to meet right, high plank. Breathe and hold in high plank. If you're already ready for child's, meet me in child's. Otherwise, if you'd like to try another balance challenge, you're going to engage the core, little bend in the knees. And you're going to lift left leg, right arm, and then switch. Right arm, left leg. Switch. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you squeeze back down. And then maybe in child's pose. What can you let go of? Land on the ground. Put the palms up. Surrender into this moment. Feel the physical body right here in this moment on this mat. And then back to down dog. Right leg lifts. Bend the knee. Bring it across the body towards the left elbow and hover. Hold it here, lift up out of the ground. And then step through the lunge. Find your blocks, have them handy. I'm going to step that back foot in a little bit. Engage again. So base is really strong. Lifting up off that front leg, long in the spine, core is engaged. Bring the left heel towards the glute. We're going to reach for the left heel with the right hand. So twisting, grabbing the heel, grabbing the foot. So staying here, squeezing in, or if you want to try and challenge the balance, you're going to pop the fingers of the left hand up off the block and then try to extend and lengthen. Lifting from the core, engage, breathe. Slowly unravel, bring the left hand back down. Take the left foot past the right, land curtsy pose. Come on up. So curtsy pose, try to get the hips facing forward and even land. Find your center. Option to keep both feet down. Inhale, lift and extend the legs. Exhale, lower. Or if you want even more balance challenge, you're going to come forward on the right leg, pop up the left toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Half squat. Whew. Come on up. Send the left leg back. High lunge. Find your high lunge. Frame out the front foot. Right foot meets left. High plank. Down dog. Find your breath. Find your hands and your feet and your head below your heart. Present in your physical body. Lift the left leg high, bend the knee, and bring it across the body towards the right elbow. Hold and hover. And then step through low lunge. Find your blocks, set up, lifting up out of the ground, strong muscles. Bring the right heel towards the glute, weight onto the left leg. Hold here. Send left hand back for right foot. See if you can catch it. Squeeze in, get really strong in the muscles first, and then maybe popping up off that right hand and extending. Breathe and balance. Slowly release the foot. Step back, past the left, curtsy pose. Hips even. Find your pose, find your breath. Option to inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, lower. We're bringing the weight onto the right leg. Pop up the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Send the right leg back, high lunge. Step the right foot forward and tap out the feet. Really tap out, shake it out. Swing left to right. Let some tension go. Grabbing a block and stepping wide. sideways on your mat, feet out, toes out, heels in. We're gonna come forward. So holding onto your block, spine long, and bring your fingertips to the block. And we're gonna just move through inner thigh. So taking hips a little bit over to the right, and then a little tiny bit over to the left. Start to slow it down, find your breath, have an internal experience. And then we'll take it a little bigger, bending one knee and then bending the other. Take the tension out of the neck. And then using the block to help us as we move, we're going to come over, as we come over to the left leg, we're going to lift the left hand and reach and lengthen. Bring it back to center, bend into the right knee, lift right arm. So there aren't any rules about how to take this. Start to just move and flow in whatever way feels right in your own physical body right now. Make this a little more flowy. Maybe starting to lift up and extend. And then slowly wiggle the feet back in towards the hips and lower on down to Malasana. Squat pose. You can place the block underneath the hips. So place the heels down. Find a comfortable position for the knees and the heels and the ankles. And then we'll extend the spine. If you're going to push your arms into your legs, push your legs back into your arms. If you like, you can just bring your hands to lengthen the spine. And then before we finish, one more balance challenge. So from Malasana, you're going to move into crow pose. So bringing your hands down onto the ground, start to just get the feeling of bringing your knees into your upper arms. So place your hands down, bring your knees in, squeeze them in, and start to engage the arms. So then you can start to come forward, up onto the toes, bring some weight into the arms. And then using all of those deep core muscles that we've been working, you want to get a hollowed out core. So you're going to hollow everything up, pull everything tight, tight, tight towards the spine. And all of your balance comes from there. It's not about pushing forward, it's about pulling up from the ground. So bringing your legs onto your upper arms, pull up, and maybe bring your toes up off the ground. Challenge your balance. Lift, lift, lift. So your stomach is pulling the weight of your legs up off your arms. Pull, pull, pull. Breathe. And when you're done playing, slowly come out and make your way down to your back. So coming on down to your back. Bring your knees in to where we started. So start to notice what is different. The difference between a yoga class and a fitness class is mind-body connection. So we don't just do things with our body without thinking about what's happening, without trying to have that connection of which muscles are making the movement, how they're feeling, which ones are weaker, which ones are stronger, noticing. And we're always looking for those gripping patterns, those holding patterns. So when we move a certain way, does our lower back fire up in grip? And what's going on there? And what can I do to breathe into that space and maybe release some of that gripping? Bring your feet up to the ceiling. Take whatever movements feel good. Just connect with, keep having your feet above your heart. Maybe take some ankle circles. Wiggle the toes, spread the toes, feel the feet. Take the right knee over the left. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And then feet towards opposite shoulders. You're looking to breathe into this glute piriformis area on the right side. Let go. Slowly unravel. Take left over right. Knees into chest, feet to opposite shoulders. Slowly unravel. And we're just going to try and take a little muscular reset before we settle into our resting pose. So feet down on the ground, knees up. And you're either going to wiggle the hips left and right, trying to get your base to wiggle as much as possible, or lift the hips up off the ground and let them drop down very quickly. The lift of the hips is only about a millimeter, a teeny little lift. You're just trying to get the muscles in the base and around the hips and the legs to just wiggle as much as possible. Wiggle like jelly. You want that cellular reset. We're trying to let go. So we work the hips a lot. So this is a great chance to shake up anything that's holding in there, any gripping. Wiggle it, let it go. Take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, just kind of land wherever you're going to land. Let your body land. Take the chin side to side and just try to release any tension in the neck. See how the neck is feeling. Notice what's holding here. And then bring the hands to the ground. We're going to try to take that cellular reset across the shoulders. So pushing the weight left, right, left, right, left, right as quick as you can without muscular actions. You're not pushing hard. You're just trying to wiggle left, right, left, right, left, right. Get that muscular wiggle to happen. And if it can go all the way down into the torso and hips, that's fabulous. The more you soften and loosen, the better. Try and get it across the shoulders. Take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, just land wherever you land. Notice what is present. Notice what is still gripping. And then take a little time to find any comfort things that you need. Placing a bolster underneath the knees, placing a blanket on, getting your socks, whatever you need to find your resting pose. Keyword, resting. So we did a lot of work. You earned the rest. This is not your final stretch pose. Try not to find that position where you're trying to gain a little less stretch. This is a resting pose. This is the opposite of what we just did. So lots of opposites in yoga. So yoga, we work the muscles so we know what they feel like when they're working and when they're tense and when they're tight. And then we try to find the opposite. So the opposite is to rest, to release all of the tension in the body. And one of the ways that we can do that is to come home, land on the ground. So come home to the body. So this, with our bodies stuck in a constant state of fight or flight, especially currently, even more so right now, it can be very hard to even know that there is gripping in parts of our body. So starting to look at the parts where we commonly hold tension. We are going to tell our hips, our sacrum, this big bony mass at the end of our spine, that it's on the ground. We're going to find that ground. We're going to feel it below our hips. And then as if we could see each of the muscles, and you can do it visually, you can do it anatomically, you can just imagine bands attaching from the thigh bone to the hip and all the way across, all the way down your back. You can imagine whatever you like to try and think of all of these complicated muscles that support the hips, support the legs moving. So what does fight or flight do? It fires up the muscles ready to get us ready to flee. So often tension in this space, tension in the legs, ready to run, tension in the glutes, ready to run, tension in the core, ready to run, which also means not ready to digest. So see if you can find as much softness in the lower torso and around your breath as possible. Loosening, softening, letting go of all of that fight or flight readiness. And if you're really struggling, it can be helpful to say, right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. Remind the brain that tomorrow is yet to come. Yesterday has already been, but right here in this moment, I'm on this mat. My hips are supported. These muscles can soften and they can take a break. And then really feel the shoulder blades. Tell the shoulder blades that the ground is behind them. They are supported. All the muscles of the chest and the back and the neck, they can all soften and release their burden. Connect with the back of the skull on the ground, being supported. Another great big heavy burden for our spine, this heavy skull at the top of our spine. So imagine telling all the muscles of the neck and the jaw and the chest and shoulders, they can soften and loosen and take a break. Soften control of even your breath. We worked a lot on balance today, mostly just to get into the physical and turn off all the other layers for a little bit, really find ourselves in our physical body, challenge ourselves. And for a few moments, consider the possibility of balance in your other layers and what that might mean. So balance in our physical body is pretty simple to think about. We challenge it, we stand on our toes, we try different things. What might balance in our mental layer mean? So if we think about our thoughts being constantly vacillating waves of the thoughts. They're always moving, always firing. Thoughts are firing. If that is the natural state of the thoughts, what is it that causes imbalance in this space? Is it when we spiral in and try to fight with the thoughts and cognitively over-explain the thoughts? And then we become this spiraling pattern of only cognitive. We've forgotten that we're a physical, emotional, spiritual body. We're just this brain firing in circles with itself. So perhaps balance in our thoughts means to let the thoughts be the thoughts. So see if you can rest in that spot right in the very center of the brain, as if landing right on top of the tailbone. See if you can begin to observe the thoughts as they just fire around. If you're a little bit more of a visual person, you can just imagine them firing visually, giving them a color and just letting them fire around in the mind. Maybe they're just images firing around. You can think of them as neurons just lighting up in your brain, just going, lighting up. There it is. That's what the brain does. And imagine you could just take a little seat right in the center of the brain and allow the thoughts to just fire. Just fire. That's what they do. And if at any point as you're practicing this, you begin to notice you got trailed away, try not to be frustrated. The practice is just to bring yourself back to center. The practice is not to get it perfect. It's a practice. And one thing that can be helpful to resettle yourself as you bring yourself back to center is to notice any physical parts of your body that you may have drawn tension in when you fell into the to-do list trap, or the shopping list trap, or the yesterday trap. Notice where you started to bring physical tension back into your body. Send your breath and awareness there, soften it, and then return to that center point, just trying to watch the thoughts as they go. If you have an extended period of time to allow for your resting close, please take some time practicing, watching the thoughts and returning to the center, allowing your mind to begin to let go of the struggle, find some balance, let the thoughts be in their natural state. If you have to finish up at 60 minutes, we are right on the 60-minute mark, so begin to bring yourself back to your mat, curl up in a little ball in a fetal position, and connect to your innermost layer, your spiritual layer, your bliss layer, the heart center. Curl up in a ball in a fetal position, reminding us of a time in the womb when all of our needs were met and we had not judged ourselves as negative or positive. We were just that little spark of life. And as you come into this pose, remind yourself that that spark of life, that bliss center, exists within us unchanged by our experiences. Unchanged by the inner critic, unchanged by our fear, unchanged by our worries. It's right there inside, waiting for us to connect within and then share it with others. And then come on up to a seated position and bring your hands to prayer heart space. Connect with this gesture of bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart. This gesture of accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. And touching that heart center, our bliss center, our inner guidance, our inner awareness, our inner love. May we all know a little love, a little kindness, a little community. Thank you so much for joining us.